Our yard is covered with these holes. Now, these holes are actually vital to our chickens, and I'm sure if you have chickens that free range, you have similar ones in your yard. And these crater-like holes are really made for chickens to have their own dust bath. They go in here, they create this space, and then they're going to kind of shake around so that they can clean up themselves. And it's really one of the only ways that they can clean themselves and make sure that they don't get mites or anything up in living inside of them. So it's really important, and what we're gonna do today to cut back on these holes is we're gonna actually make our own dust bath for them, and we're gonna walk through all the steps so that you can do this as well, and hopefully make sure to get these tripping hazards out of your free range areas. I'm Danielle of the Sweater Homestead, and welcome to our channel. Now, the first thing that you're really going to need in order to do this is a space that you can actually create this new dust bath for. So think maybe a kiddie pool, or a good basin, or even an old tire, which is what we're gonna use today to create this space, because we really just need something that's going to be deep enough for them to go inside of, but something that's also going to make sure that they can go in and have an area that they can dig their little hole in. Before we actually talk about the construction of a dust bath for your chickens, it's important to understand why they are truly important to your chickens. And if you already own chickens, you definitely are gonna know that they get dirty. Our chickens go out, rain, shine, snow, mud. They will go out in whatever weather and they will dig through whatever little goodies or gross droppings that we put into their pen, or really anywhere in that matter. If they see something and they know that there are little goody animals that could be in there, or something fun to eat on, or just think they want to scratch something, they will get in there and they will get really dirty. Now, in this, chickens will actually be able to get mites, lice, or any other parasite that might go into underneath their feathers, and they really don't have a good way of cleaning themselves. Because they're prone to this, they do need something that is going to help offset this, and that is going to be the dust bath. Now, regardless of if you make one or not, your chickens are actually going to create these on their own, as you saw earlier in this, and they're going to create them wherever they want. So if you have nice landscaping, they could do it there. They could do it maybe in a bad area they don't really care about, in your garden beds. They will create dust baths, they will hang out in there, and they will just shake around. All of them will start to go in there, and you're gonna have some deep holes. Not only is it not going to look that great, but it also can be quite a cautionary tale if you're walking out and tripping on them. I know both Chris and I have tripped on these holes quite a bit, and if you do have elderly people or if you have children around, this is definitely something that could happen to them as well. What's beneficial about the dirt is it's actually going to get inside the feathers, clean up some of the oils, and really smother any of those bugs that could be in there to create a really good bath for your chickens. So it's really important that they do have something like this. And we're gonna go over just 3 ingredients that you can actually find in your house or yard, garden, that you can add to create your own dust baths for your chickens that are going to really help with smothering those bugs and keeping your chickens healthy. Now, I know you're here to actually learn how to make your own dust bath. And as we said, you're going to want to start to gather your materials. And the first one that you're going to want to grab is the container. Now, you're going to want it tall enough so the ingredients do not fall out, but shallow enough so that your chickens can actually jump in and they will want to jump in. So we're thinking a kiddie pool, sandbox, an old tire, or anything similar to that. We're going to be using an old tire today, and the first thing that we're going to start to gather is we're going to want to gather some soil, and this is going to be the base. Now, we are going to actually mix up all the ingredients in a wheelbarrow before we pour it in, but we're going to go ahead, grab some soil. I actually have some nice soil in a compost pile, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that. You can also purchase the soil from the store. If you have some extra from your garden, you can use that, or you can even use sand. That will also be a really good ingredient, and you want to make sure that when you're putting it in, it's going to be a nice dry soil. That should be nice and good. Now we're gonna go ahead and grab the second ingredient, which means that we actually have to go head over to our fire pit. I doubt you thought that I was actually going to be heading over to our fire pit. We actually had a bonfire recently and we have a lot of great ash, and that is actually the second ingredient for this project. Now, this is something that you can grab ashes from if you have a wood burning stove, if you've recently made a bonfire or fire pit and have some of those. Or if you don't have any ashes, you can use diatomaceous earth. This is something that you can actually purchase. And the reason that you want to use diatomaceous earth or ashes is because this is going to be the ingredient in the bath that actually smothers all of those bugs. So it's really important that you have either diatomaceous earth or ashes, and ashes are gonna be free, so we're gonna use that today in ours. And I'm just gonna shovel a little bit into the dirt, and then we're gonna mix everything together, and we're then one ingredient away from finishing this. So it's really easy to actually create this dust bath. Now that we've got them both in the wheelbarrow, I'm going to mix them up. It's definitely gonna be quite dusty, so watch out. That's pretty good. Now we're gonna go ahead and actually add this into our container before we put in our final ingredient. So you wanna stay tuned to figure out what this final ingredient is. And if you aren't already subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe. If you like homesteading content, we put out new content every week and we'd love to have you along for the journey. You can see that they already are loving the space. They're already in there. And the location of where you put this dust bath is also really important. You want to make sure that it's in a space that is covered from the rain. This way it isn't going to get wet and soggy in there. So we do have ours inside of our run underneath a covering. This way it's always nice and dry in there. The last and final ingredient to your dust bath is going to be adding some dried herbs. Now, we don't actually have any dried herbs right now, so I'm actually going to pick some fresh ones. I'm going to add some rosemary, thyme, and lemon balm, but you can also add things like oregano, basil, anything that's going to be nice and fresh that you can add as a little bit of a topping for your dust bath. This is definitely an optional ingredient that you can add, but I think a great one. So I'm gonna go ahead, add these to the dust bath. And as you can see, the chickens are already really loving it, and they're gonna start using it as their own dust bath. Remember to keep this in a dry place, and you will probably need to refill it a couple times per year. This is our second time refilling it this summer. So you can see it's definitely not amazing and beautiful looking, but it really gets the job done, and it hopefully is going to start decreasing some of the craters in your yard. It's definitely helped ours, and I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you like learning more about chickens, then you'll definitely want to check out this playlist, and we'll see you guys again next time. Bye!